to I'm gonna go down to Portland and catch the Jazz Blazers game this year and
Dope,
go out for dinner
dope.
with them the night before. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
We'll cut that out because I'm a teacher. I'm gonna take the day off.
All
Anyways,
right.
all right, man. Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Hoops Journey, episode 144. I don't even know what to call them seasons. We're just going to keep the numbers and hopefully we get to 1,144. But we got an OG in the game with us tonight, a gentleman from Eastern Commerce to Findlay Prep, McDonald's All-American, who, looking at the roster, got to hoop it up with a couple Canadians in the All-American game, which is kind of cool when you think about it. Jordan Brand Classic, Texas Longhorns, overseas professionally, and a great journey, which I'm sure we'll get into now, finding himself working with the Jazz and the G League team. And rumor has it, yesterday at practice, I will not declare my source, but apparently he was blowing by some guys that are actually still in it. So we have none other than Mr. And you probably know the name. It's Mr. Myck Kabongo. How are you, sir? How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor it's a privilege. And yes, sir, man, let's get to it. I know you guys have been going on strong, 144 episodes. That's a milestone in its own. So congratulations to you, of course.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's
Yes, sir.
yeah, it just kind of started during COVID and just been taken off. And it's funny, like, as you know and experience, the basketball world, and especially in Canada, is not that big, right?
Yeah.
And there's just so many great stories to share out there. So it's like a mini addiction out here. And if I had time to do weekly episodes, I'd do weekly episodes, but we're bi-weekly for now. And until someone comes along and wants to pay me a little bit more than my teacher salary, we'll keep it rolling this way. But how's life for you, man? We were texting offline and you were saying things like just adjusting to being back in the States and,
Yeah.
you find yourself in a new role. How's that all going? When you're a hooper and you get to your level, you're used to sort of at times living out of a bag or two, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how's the adjustment been back, getting back and then being around the game again, but in a different way?
It was pretty good. I mean, I ended up obviously finishing my career in the CEBL, winning a championship with the Scarborough Shooting Stars. So for me at that point, after playing in Qatar for the last several years, finally being home, it was kind of like I kind of felt it through the season that I was kind of like on that point of not wanting to play no more, but
Mm,
contributing in a different way. One
mm,
of the main things that it came about to me was when I was helping out younger players when I was in Qatar, even in Scarborough, where I had that mentorship role, veteran role, having 10 years in a professional field like this is tough. So to even have
no
that,
doubt.
I'm very grateful to have a career that I did have. And I just
Hmm.
felt like more joy getting guys, better when I'm helping them on the bench. Things that I'm seeing on the court, I was getting more joy from seeing my teammates succeed. So that's when I knew that coaching was definitely the next step for me. And it's a selfless position, right? The leadership role. I've always been a captain on my team with men from a novice level. So I could lead a group of men. And also, I always had that eye test where I could see something and know what we can get better at individually as a team success. So it's just different things that you can see in the game at the point guard position, which is like the quarterback. For y'all that don't know basketball, I always like breaking it down like that. There's a
Love
lot.
it.
It's a cerebral position. You have to know a
Hmm.
whole lot. You have to know the game in and out because you're an extension of the coach. And I always felt like I was that for all the coaches I played for. And I played for some stellar coaches. Dan
Hmm.
Hurley, who's one of my mentors, Coach Barnes. And also, I mean, you can name a few like Team Canada, Leo Rounds. I played from some excellent coaches. So
Hmm.
for me, it was just coming in this fold and learning what I learned and continue to learn. I'm eager to learn and just
Yeah,
trying to take the bits and pieces that I got from the coaches that I enjoyed and have my own style to try and be a great one myself.
I love that. Up until that point where you sort of saw yourself becoming a quote unquote what they would call us as an old head, but you're not there yet. I am.
Basketball years.
Did the yeah, exactly, like dog years, right? Did the mentorship, so it gradually happened, but did you even think about coaching before, or was it like when you found yourself sort of as the playing started to go away, you thought, oh, or did it swirl around in your head before that time?
I always was like kind of the coach, because you
Sure.
see plays sometimes and you're calling out things that you're seeing. But
Mm.
now that I know what goes into coaching, there's a lot more than that. You worry about your players so much more. It's crazy, just how different it is when you're on this side. But for me, it was something where I didn't know. But with the intangibles that I did have, it was just a seamlessly easy flowing role to kind of jump into. And like I said, I have great mentors. Scott Morrison also being one of them, Team Canada,
Shout out.
being involved also with Team Canada, seeing like the best athletes perform every day, seeing what goes into it. I kind of got prepared to kind of be here in Utah to try and continue to learn and grow in that position of being a coach.
Amazing, man. And I think it's so dope that we have so many great young Canadian up and coming coaches. Like, we're coming, man. And like
Yeah.
Nate Mitchell just took a job over. Like, there's so many guys like and it wasn't a thing before, right? Like you mentioned Leo.
And
There
funny
was,
you said Nate. Nate's also one of my mentors. You know,
yeah.
someone definitely. I mean, we have a pipeline. We had the pipeline of players, and now you're seeing the different kind of things. People in front management positions in the front office.
Mhm.
Just different things that you're seeing Canadians doing in the game of basketball, and it's nice to see. Since I
For
mean,
sure.
Dr. Naismith is Canadian, so at the end of the day, it is our sport. Let's not forget that. I feel like people forget it's a
They
Canadian
do.
sport. It's our sport. So
Yep.
it's kind of nice to see that we have a lot more people being involved that are from Canada.
And you've touched on it already. You said the word 7 or 8 times is mentorship, and that's the
Yeah.
key. And it's those young guys. And we just had Allison McNeil on the previous episode. She coached with the national team for 12 years, coached at Simon Fraser. She talked about she is now retired and is being a mentor. And I think that's the key, right? If we want young people, so me being a high school coach, I need to mentor some of my younger guys that have just graduated high school and come on, coach with me, come be an assistant, like learn the game. I think you'd be really good at it. And that's the key. Now that we have people like yourselves, Scott, Nate, these guys in the positions, pulling a couple youngins in and saying, hey, this is how it works, young fella, so that it's
Mm-hmm.
not as overwhelming like you're
Mm-hmm.
for yourself when you step in is so key. And it's so nice to see that we're at that point. I love it. Makes me feel
Mm-hmm.
good, man. It's like
Yeah.
we're on the map. So that's dope. And continued success with all that. I know you're going to do great.
Thank you. Thank
Let's go back, man. Let's talk about you as a young buck,
you.
life for yourself. And when you're growing up, like, what was it about basketball that just made you go, hey, this is a sport I think I really like?
Just like every body from Toronto, you know, Vince Carter was a big influence. You know, Vince was the one that was our Michael Jordan, and then of course
Yeah.
Steve Nash. Once Steve Nash won those two back-to-back MVPs,
Hmm.
Phoenix Suns playing with that fast-paced offense that now where the NBA is, right? Like they
It's
were the
crazy,
first
right?
ones to kind of transcend it. And D'Antoni, who's a genius of a coach, just
He
the
took
way
a lot
he
of heat too, right? Like he took a
oh man,
lot of
yeah,
people were
just the
like, what
way
is this guy
no,
doing? You know?
no, just the way he sees the game. He, you know, like I said, he having a lot. I don't even know. I'm at a loss of words to be honest. Because the way they played is the way every team now is playing today. They're playing
It's
point
wild.
five basketball. You're
Hmm.
trying to play quick. You're trying to shoot a lot of threes, and trying to get paint touches to get in the paint to try and finish. So you just see where the game has evolved. And Canada, I mean, Canadians being a big part of it, and Steve Nash and Toronto obviously winning the championship. That's where it started for me. It was just the love of my city, the love of seeing Canadians, people that are from where I'm from, doing well in a sport that I fell in love with, and I just wanted to be close to them, and that's where the drive and the hunger came from for me. Was seeing the people that set the bar and just trying to reach it.
It's funny how many people have mentioned from the dot have mentioned Vince.
Yeah.
Like you kind of knew, right? And being I'm a West Coaster, right? I'm BC boy, so obviously our Grizzlies came and went, but like, so many people from Toronto area have mentioned Vince, and that's the name. Like not Damon, not, like it was like Vince made it like, wow, he
Uh-huh.
was. And I think it's such a big thing when you have those guys at that level that are tangible. Like you can go to a game and watch him shooting, or maybe a connection to you sneaks you into a practice at, well, what is now OVO. You know what I mean? And that's when dreams start to happen, I think, right? It's dope and cool that we had, the older Canadian teams to look up to, but even the 2000 team, a lot of those guys on the team those are my boys.
Mhm.
But they didn't make the league. They had Big Todd, they had Steve, Rowan, and then everybody else was kind of like a semi overseas pro. And then when you're young and you have that in your city, it's huge.
And if you're a student of the game, I mean, that whole
Hmm.
team was amazing. Michael Meeks from the
Yeah.
Rowan Barrett, like that whole team was amazing. And that's part of being a student of the game, man. And I think it's a lost art. I think it's something that I just want to tap on since I'm hearing you say it. A
Careful now,
lot of
old
these,
head. Careful now.
no, I mean, it's
Tread
not even the
lightly.
old head. I
Nah,
mean,
I'm playing. I'm playing. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's it's definitely just saying you got to know, and if you're really a student of the game, love the game, you got to know what comes before you were, because that's how you gonna respect the game. You're gonna treat the game a lot differently if you know what was before you, and on top of that, it can give you some sort of inspiration. I always tell my young players that I do try to help. Try and look up old players, man, because you never know, you might be inspired by something that they did. Because, like I said, this game has been around for quite some years. And there are a lot of great players that have played in the show, but also all around the world. NBA is the highest level of competition when it comes to basketball, but there are a lot of great players around the world. And I think us Canadians, we produce some of the best.
I agree, man. And you make such a good point too, though. It's like, and it's to nobody's fault, but that clip culture,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
influence
yeah.
of the
That's the
Instagram
big one.
that's
They just
it's
watch
taken up.
clips. They don't. And you know what's crazy? Back in the day, we had the VHS tapes,
Yo,
and we actually had to watch a full game, rewind, because maybe the score was showing
yeah,
clips of games, and that's only 45 seconds. You can't.
yeah,
We were watching a whole game where you're learning pace. You're learning, okay, time and score. You're learning, all right, like this is what they did in the fourth quarter. Phil Jackson went to this. He's going to Kobe, going to Shaq. Just the little things we were watching is, I mean, as a kid and watching a full game, you don't think, but you're learning that way when you watch a full game as to where you're just seeing a highlight and then you go see some of these kids. They're just trying to make highlight real plays. But the best ones, the good ones are the ones I know that are studying the game, have a great feel for the game, and are actually watching full on games because that's the way you get better as a player. If you're a young player out there listening, it's not going to be the clips you see on YouTube that are just 35 seconds of that highlight reel dunk. No, go watch who was blocking out, who did the extra pass, who made the right screen, reads, right, making the right play, not shooting over two guys, hitting the open person. So these are the little things that I think that players that are, learning, and even coach, so many people are always learning. You could always learn this game no matter the level, how many years you've played, you're always learning. But I think for young players, it's very important.
take him to church, man. Church on a Thursday.
It's
He
very
said it, not
important.
me. He
Yeah,
said it.
very,
He said it, not
no,
me. But I
very
agree,
important.
man.
Very important.
So you're in the city, growing up, loving hoop, like looking up to Vince. When did you kind of look around at the playground or the Y or your school, wherever you were, and go, I'm kind of nice? Like
Right, right, right.
when did you realize like this was
Mhm.
all right? You
Well, I
know?
grew up on Blake Street, on the east side of Toronto. So for me, I think we had probably downtown has one of the best basketball players to me in all of Toronto, right? Of course, circumstances happen and some guy didn't get the shine or probably had some other things or current things happen in life. But I think I saw some of the best basketball when I was a kid. I mean, these guys were flat on hoopers, just show up, no stretching. Probably drank a beer or two,
Yeah.
and and they coming in the gym and they giving that work. Let me tell you, they're giving work, man. I seen guys flat out just. And then how I knew when I was good was when I got a chance to run with the big guys because I was always watching clips and then I'd go to the playground, practice what I saw. Then I'd go back, see another move, go practice what I saw for hours. Like people in my neighborhood used to be like, "Who's dribbling that ball?" Oh, we know it's Mike. Because that's how much time I actually spent on the playground just mimicking the things that I was seeing on TV. So it got
Yeah.
to the point where I finally got a chance to rep at it. And obviously, I was weak. I was not strong, but I had the skills. So I would get by guys, floaters, because I knew I couldn't go in. They used to knock me down on the floor. You know what I mean? Like real tough basketball that built my toughness and made me the player that I was. So it was literally when I was like 14, just playing with like 17-year-olds when I scored about 72 on them. 17, 18-year-olds, I was like, all right, I think I'm all right at this game.
Did you just say 72?
Yeah, 72
Very
at
good.
ECU Community Center. I have the record there.
Talk to him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, the jersey's retired and everything. So
Nice. I
yes,
love that.
sir.
Now, are you suggesting, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I did hear, are you suggesting that young players should also play older, bigger, faster, stronger?
Oh,
Always
you
like,
have
is
to.
that,
You
I'm
have
being
to
totally
because,
sarcastic, but talk
but
to him,
no, without a
please.
doubt, because there's always going to be someone stronger or faster than on the basketball court. The higher the level you go, any level you go, there's going to be someone on that court. So it's a matter of I always say how you prepare yourself for games is how you practice.
Mm,
So a lot of people practice and they don't put themselves in game-like situations, or they don't do the reps game-like. And that's how you get in the game and freeze as a player. You're like, oh, I'm not used to all this pressure, or oh, I'm not used to all this length. Or no, put yourself in game situations when you're practicing. So when you come in the game, that's where the confidence will come. That's where the
mhm.
comfortability will come for players. So it's very important to be doing things that are making you take you out your comfort zone, to be comfortable on the court, playing versus older players, playing versus stronger players, people that are faster. Take a challenge, because that's the only way you can get better.
It's those dudes rolling up to just had a Marlboro and a beer in the parking lot. When they pull up, if you're the fifth on their team and you cost them game point and you don't and you
Oh, bro, you're
right
not going to be on the next run.
and you don't
It's done. It's over for you. No one else
right
picking you up for the rest of the day. You're going to be
right
sitting down watching. Yeah, that's it. It's a wrap for you. You
for
might get a
sure.
game at the end when
Yeah, when
everyone's
everybody's
done,
tired. Yeah,
and by then the game's over. That's
yeah.
my win. But yeah, you messed something up on game point.
He
Yeah,
knows. He knows.
yeah.
Okay, so before a jersey gets retired and all that stuff, does a coach come across and sort of say, hey, come play for this AAU team, or like, how do we end up at Eastern Commerce, and like, who are the people in your corner, sort of helping you provide and sort of see that vision that you're seeing in yourself already, but who are those people that are around you in your circle that are helping guide you a little bit as well?
I had a basketball family, so all my
Hmm.
brothers played. Obviously, my sister was tough. She was like my biggest competition. Ended up going to University of Delaware, played for the Blue Hens with Della Dawn. So they had an amazing team. So I was seeing great basketball from when I was young. When I used to even go drive up to see her play when I was in Jersey in high school. So it's just like a matter of, for me, is just continue to watch good basketball.
Hmm.
That's how I got to where I was. Literally, it was just my family.
Yeah,
Everyone kind of knew that we were a basketball family. I was
yeah.
always around it. Then you're seeing coaches when you're at your sister's game. Hey, we have an opportunity here. Would you be interested? And I'd be like, all right, I have to talk to my parents. But
Hmm.
the good thing about my parents, they never really cared about basketball. My
Yeah.
parents were all academics. It was all about, if you have your homework done, you can go play. All right, if you have this grade, then there might be a possibility for you to go to the States. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that's how all those opportunities came. It was just always being around the game. I had great mentors in Vidal Masai, and Jelani Matthews, who kind of propelled me to go to Eastern. People that were at Eastern, legends at Eastern. Roy Rana, who's an amazing coach, amazing coach.
Hmm.
Ended up playing for him, and he thought it was best for me to leave as well. Just with the situation of what I wanted to do, which is big.
Sure.
You always have to
Yeah.
have goals as well, and people that want to see you reach those goals. It's unfortunate though in the game, sometimes people might have their own hidden agendas. But I always say that's not necessary in this game, because you need to think about what's best for the kid, because the kids are going to be the one that's going to suffer down the line or down the road. And a lot of people are not going to care, right? So
Hmm.
young players, continue to keep your families around you. They're always going to have your best interest, because not everyone will in this
Hmm.
thing, which is unfortunate, but you do come across some amazing people. And when you do, be grateful for that, because it's not always where you have the, great people that have the right intentions for you.
So many great points. I think, we've had a Coach Rana on the podcast, and such a good thing to touch on, in the sense of, it speaks to his character of how,
Mm-hmm.
think of all the players that he's had the opportunity to coach, yourself included, and just, he could have just said, you know what, Mike, just stay, like, this is the best place
Right.
for you. And
No,
like,
no, he would
and
go.
he's like,
No.
and in his mind, he's like, I can hang a couple banners in his head,
Mm-hmm.
but he's like,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Mm-hmm.
this is not right. And so unselfishly, he's able to step away. And like you say, there's, unfortunately, few and far between people are like that. A lot of people think with their own ego first, and I think that says a lot about him and his character. So when you went to the folks and had the file ready of why we should be going to Findlay Prep and school will be okay,
Yeah.
did he come with you? Was he the agent, or did you have a good proposal, or was the conversation already happen around the dinner table? Like, how does that
Yeah.
happen?
So
Because
my
we've had,
brothers,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So my brothers were just,
Because, I mean,
I
you're
mean,
young. You're young. It's
so,
like, and you,
but I was a person. I was
yeah.
emailing schools in the seventh grade about
Say
recruiting
less.
me. So I was like,
Really?
I went to every
What was your
college.
Hotmail handle? Was it like
Myck Kabongo,
baby baller
hotmail.com.
at hot?
No, it was I was a professional when I was young. It was
I
Myck
love it.
Kabongo, hotmail.com.
I
I
love
still
it.
use that email to this day. I'm old school. but I got a Gmail now. I got a Gmail
Yeah,
now,
you upgraded.
which is how
Yeah.
we got on this link. But no, I still had that Hotmail, and I used to email every school every day. Hey, I'm Myck
Yeah.
Kabongo, recruit me. Where'd the questions start? Because we railed off a little bit.
No, I
Um,
love it.
but
Like,
but pretty much it
yeah.
just
So
started
you
with me
knew your
reaching
vision
out.
started. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
were like,
always
I'm
reached
out.
out. So I knew a lot about schools before because I was one of those kids. Still, I'm a big nerd to this day. I see
Mm,
something I want to know. I'm a person
mm,
that I'm all about informational based. Like every subject, I know something because I love reading about what's going on in humanity, and I just love knowing everything about basketball. So when I knew St. Benedict's was recruiting me, I knew J.R. Smith went there.
yeah.
Samardo Samuels was there. I understood the pedigree of the Hurleys, because
Hmm.
they have a great history in basketball. Their dad's a Hall of Famer coach. He's a
Hmm.
tough coach, a coach that I want to play for. He's going to
Mm.
hold me accountable. He's not going to hand me anything. And I was like, this is who I want to play for. So I just told my mom. My mom was like, no at first. But every day I was telling my mom, hey, because I kind of knew because around like December that I wanted to go of
Okay.
that year at Eastern. Then I ended up going in spring because my brother was like, yeah, mom, it's the best decision for him to do. And I just was begging them every day. And at that point, they're like, he must be serious about this if he's asking us every day. And then my parents just, you know, told Coach Hurley, make sure you treat him like your own son, which he did. And me and Tristan went on down and started our careers down there.
Which is so cool. And I think too, like, sounds like you're a pretty driven guy from the get go, and so you also know, all right, Mike, we got to keep these grades in line too, or
Mhm.
mom's going to pull the plug quick. So there's a lot of things that you're going through at a younger age where maybe till we get to college we realize, all right, we got to stay eligible and hoop, right? But you're already working on that because of your family background and what kind of like the structure. So that's crazy. And then going with Tristan, right, Coach Hurley, like, tell me about that. Stepping on the floor, like just going from Eastern, which is probably the highest level in Canada for a high school at that point. Then you're going to a place of Findlay Prep, of the reputation and the people around. What were those first early experiences like? Did you feel like you belonged right away?
I knew I belonged. I work harder than anybody. So for me, it's like, I know the work I put in. Again, it's back to the work you put in is how comfortable you're going to be when you're on the court. Of course, the biggest adjustment was just moving to America, different
Sure.
country, different culture.
Hmm.
They're kind of similar to where I was, but a little different.
Hmm.
For me, Canadians are nice, Americans not so nice. Sometimes, sometimes I'm not gonna put everyone in the box, but
Yep.
let's just call it square square.
Yep.
Naturally Canadians are nicer. So I just learned how to be a little more tough, which was great for me. I went
Hmm.
down there, guys were not giving me nothing, which I loved. I had to gain my respect from my teammates. We
Hmm.
got into fights, and it was crazy once first got to school because they're gonna try you. You're Canadian. They thinking you soft, but we held our own, and once
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
happened, after at the end of my freshman year, I was starting on that team. So, it was one of those situations where I was just comfortable with the work that I put in, that I was not worried about anyone. Anytime when I strapped them up about who's on the other side, I felt very comfortable with our chances to win.
You good?
Yep, yep, we're good. We're good. People are calling my phone. I gotta
Okay.
work. I gotta
It's 'cause
work out here in like 30 minutes. I gotta go work out someone at the gym, but we're good.
no stress. All
I'll
right.
no, I'll call them after we're done.
Good, good.
This is part of being a coach,
Yeah,
as it's
exactly
live.
right. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah,
Hey,
exactly. There we go.
they know coach is gonna get in there and get them right. You know what I'm
The people are getting it live. They're getting live and direct here.
saying?
Love it, man. And then so just elevating yourself to like, I mean, McDonald's All-American, Jordan Brand game, University of Texas, like talk about all that and just sort of all those processes. I mean, overwhelming probably to deal with all that, but also so special and great at the same time, I imagine. Such a unique thing, especially for a Canadian hooper.
Yeah. For me, it was just like, my whole thing is, again, studying everything about basketball. So I was just first, all right, what's the history behind, the McDonald's game? What's the history behind who's the number one player? These things matter when you're in high school. So for me, I just used to always look online in each class and go through every class and see who are the best point guards. And I used to watch their clips on YouTube and study their games and then take some stuff and add my own flair or just know what they're doing. So when I do see them, I know how to match up and guard them. I was that kind of student of the game when I was in high school. I don't know if high school players are doing that, but if you aren't, you should. Make sure that you see yourself that, all right, this is who they're saying is the best. What does he do that's great? How do I get there? That's kind of me. I always look for the blueprint and try and follow the blueprint. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how I got to that level with being ranked number one point guard in my class. Then obviously going to Texas and doing what I did there, playing for Coach Barnes. Amazing coach, amazing mentor. Till this day, you can call his
Yeah.
number. Just things that go beyond basketball. I think I've been blessed with for real
Yeah.
because I'm playing for coaches that I can still talk to this day, that are steering me towards the right direction with now my coaching. And yeah, so that's just kind of how I kind of went through the whole college phase and being in the spotlight. I was just more so concerned with the work,
Mhm.
concerned with how do I get better, and not really worried about the noise. If you know me, I'm the worst with phones. Like I'm not a phone guy. That's why I'm
That's
very like
good.
like I'm not in the social media. I'm
Mhm.
kind of like in my own lane, my own world, because I know like my greatness is different than everyone else's. I don't try and watch like other people what they got going on. I'm really focused on my, improvement and how do I get better to reach my higher self.
I looked, man. You follow not one person. That's messed up, dog. Not one
It's
person.
you know why I don't look online. What am
I'm
I
playing
looking
with
on?
you.
It's
I'm
one of
playing
those.
with you.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
This is great. People give me crap for this all the time, which is great, and I'm gonna give the best explanation. Now they're actually filtering my feed and just going off of like whatever they might be hearing on my phone because my microphone's on. And I'm seeing things that are like I had a conversation and my algorithms are picking up. So I'm
It's wild,
already
isn't it?
scared. I'm already scared what AI is
Yeah.
doing. So for me, it's like if you know me in my real life, you have my number, and that's where it matters. Online is obviously, as we know, it's a facade. So for me,
For
it's just
sure.
definitely to keep up with the people that have been supporting me. I want to let them know what I'm doing, but for me to be following other people's lives and doing all that stuff to see what this celebrity got driving and all, I ain't got the time. All right, I ain't got the time. I don't. If you're my real friend, you got my number. I'm only on there to obviously motivate. I'm on there to spread positivity, on there to share a little bit of my life because you need to do that when people do want to, follow
Mhm.
me and see what I'm doing. But for the most part, I keep it very generic and just keep it basketball, keep it motivational and inspiring, which is what I walk. This is me. This is who I am in my real life.
Yeah, man.
And that's the version that I put online.
Love that answer. Well done, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I
Yeah.
think we need more of that and
Yeah.
being a high school teacher and some of these guys that you're going to work with are super young and that pressure of sort of just balancing it all, right? It's like such a different thing. It's like how much do you share? And then the minute you do, if you're in the celebrity spotlight, it's like people just want to, yeah.
That's
You
tough.
saw what
It's
happened.
tough for young players. I feel for them, because they are in
Yeah.
the social media era. It's a different time. So
Hmm.
like I even remember like like eighth year playing in Europe. Guys are in phones now. Before the game, after the game, and like during the game, at the time, like I'm like, bro, we're in a game. I don't even look at my phone at halftime. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about plays that these guys are on their phone. So you have to understand it is a different time.
Hmm.
It could be a gift and a curse. It's nice for to show to your fans that you're caring for them, but also your fans can make you think you're better than you're not.
Yeah.
And then now you're fighting with a demon that you shouldn't be when the reality is you're not ready yet.
Mhm.
Or you're getting just a false narrative of the things that are with your game. Oh, you're the best team. No. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna do what's best for the team. This is the coach in me talking now that I'm seeing it. And you got, that's why social media is like you gotta take it a grain of salt. We know the kids love it, but don't let that change the perception of the work that you're going to put in and the players that your coaches are seeing of you that you can become. Because again, your coaches are not seeing you and not trying to make you successful when you're on that court. They're trying to make sure that everything that they're doing is to get you prepared to succeed when you're on it.
No doubt. Um, cough, cough, Shannon Sharp. I don't know if you saw what happened to him yesterday.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you gotta learn how
Oof.
to put the phone off, man. Turn the
Now
phone
that's
off.
an old head right there. Um, I wanted to touch on so Coach Barnes, good dude, like just seems so stoic on the sideline, and you don't want to judge someone on how they coach by their body
Right.
language, but just sort of so a big mentor for you. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, being in the role and spot that you were coming out of high school, was anybody else close than Texas? Like you, I mean, you must have had letters coming out the yazoo. So who else had a chance? I mean, you could say it now because you did your
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
No offense. So
Duke was my number one after. Really was always my number one. I was
yeah.
only going to Texas really for Tristan and Corey to
Hmm.
play with them because those are my
Hmm.
brothers. and we always had dreams of winning a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Again, players, it was always about winning, right? That was always the thought. It was not about me averaging 20, you averaging 30. No, it was winning. That's what we wanted to do. So yeah, for me, that's kind of what it was.
Okay, so Duke, huh?
Yeah, Duke. And if not Duke, it would have been Kentucky, just because me and Anthony Davis' relationship and Mike Gilchrist, very close.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a pass first point guard, so everyone in my class loved playing with me. So, I mean, other things happen, but Kentucky would have been, if it was not Duke, it was Kentucky. And then obviously, you know, Texas was my number one after.
That's what I was going to say at the start. You talked about being a point guard, and I was like, yeah, you got to do all these things, but then you got a bunch of dudes that are like, feed me the rock, man. Come on.
And,
you know?
I'm the guy that could do this. Hey, not yet. Hold on. Right? Hold on. I'm coming. Right? Hold on. It's not the possession. I'm seeing the flow of the game. I'm seeing what's happening. We'll get to that. We have a better option and a better play right now to get the team going for what we need for the end result, which is to win this game. You'll get your shot. We'll get you the rock. But it's not time. Yeah.
So, but before we just kind of quickly talk about overseas, who's on? You talked about, being a private guy. If you're on my phone, you're on my phone. Who's around right now outside of that you're working with Utah that you're going to lean on as a resource to help you with, adapt to and sort of grow within the NBA style of play? Is there somebody that is a resource for you? Or are you just sort of flying by each day right now, figuring it out?
You know what it is? I'm definitely figuring it out as it goes, but this is my highest mentor. The only thing that I need in this world for me is God. For me, when I give him all the glory, I give it to him. When I ask him for him to place the mentors and the things that I need in this life, he places them like unsupernatural. Like it's not natural, some of the things that he's doing with the people that I'm meeting, the mentors that I'm having, and will continue to have in this space that I'm trying to grow and get better. So for me, that's the biggest and the highest that I give to and who I go to for anything in this space that will propel me to be a good coach one day is God. Yeah.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself? Like, did you ever imagine that you're full circle, you'd be sitting in Utah
No,
coaching right?
No, not
It's
a
wild.
chance.
It's wild, right?
Not a chance. Not a chance. If I said this to you like 10 years ago, I would be like, nah, there's no way. Now it's just like, but that's life, right? It's just life is such a journey. It's a beautiful journey, honestly. The more you just surround yourself with people that are like-minded, people that are smarter than you. I hang out with people that are smarter than me because I learn every day. That's the key. Yeah, that's the key. That's the key for me. I hang out with people that are smarter than me, that could teach me something, and that keep helping me to progress this way. So my trajectory is this way and not going downwards.
Love it, man. Okay, so to wear a time here, I want to know though, just think about your career post Texas, making the tournament, second season a little bit rougher, then you move on, play pro, many different stops along your way. Your journey is great. As we know, once you go overseas, the pro game, a lot of those contracts are won. Like no one's signing like a 7-year deal over there, right? So when you think about that, what's do you have like one of the craziest playing stories? Like what sticks out? Like if you're sitting around with the fellas and they're like, yo, Mike, what you got?
I mean, there's a couple. Mexico is crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned Qatar too, okay, but tell us about
Qatar
Mexico.
Is great. Saudi Arabia was great. I've been to Romania, just to name a few. Spain, played in Sweden, Denmark. Denmark's amazing. Amazing people. Just amazing people. Just people that actually care for the human side of a player. I've never played in a country that cared more for players than in Denmark. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Like, just one of my favorite places to play. But if I have a funny story, I probably played for I'd be having great stories, but I probably played for the cartel in Mexico. Kid you not. Maybe you guys might do the research and search for the team now. Who knows? But they were giving us our money in brown duffel bags. It was never a wire transfer. It was always in cash. I've never played for a team that would drop our paychecks in a brown duffel bag, and they would make it awkward. He'd be like, "Here, take the money," and like disappear, like super frantic about giving us our money. but we were a great team. I love that team. We popped like 14 games in a row. I ended up breaking my wrist that year. We were so close to winning the championship. Man, and I got clotheslined, in Europe, overseas, the Americans or the imports never get calls. And it was one of those games you were up by 20. And I went up for a layup, which I shouldn't have, being up by 20. And then I got clotheslined and broke my wrist. And then our season kind of went like this and, ended up coming back, but we lost in the playoffs. I played with one hand. I was literally playing with my left hand, shooting free throws with my left hand, everything. Because I couldn't shoot with my right hand. I tried to speed up the recovery just to help the team play. But that's part of like who I am. I'm always going to do anything for the team and try and help them to will them to win. But nah, I definitely think I played for the cartel when I was in Mexico.
Okay, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Okay, was there ever like when the duffel bag came or whatever, like you're leaving the facility, were you ever like nervous?
No, they were coming dropping it off at our. So first of all, they gave us
so this is
the way
a house
we were
drop.
living. Let's talk about how we were living. We were living in mansions. We had mansions in Mexico. No lie, we had a mansion with a pool in the backyard for yourself as a player. Like you and one maybe teammate, 4 rooms, big mansion. So there was something going on.
Yeah.
Maybe they were in construction. Maybe they were in construction and they were builders.
Building something. That's someone needs to like a good writer needs to interview all these people and like write a book about overseas experiences, man. Like,
hey, my book would be insane. And that's just one story. I've played in every continent but Asia. And then, I've never been to China, but I did play in Asia as far as, the Middle East, but Australia. Other than that, I've played everywhere. So the stories are endless, but that's the one I'll give you before we get off, Aaron. And you know me, I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. Hope we could do this again,
no doubt, man.
But to be on episode 144, it's an honor, it's a privilege. And hell yeah, I can't wait to see where the game goes for Canada in 2028. We will play. All right, we will play.
You sure about that?
We will play. I'm saying that with my chest out. We will play.
Yeah.
I think guys are hungry. I think guys got the experience that they needed. It was a great learning experience. I think guys will continue to grow in their NBA seasons individually. And then once we place the team back, I think we can really make some more noise after having that experience that the team did in Paris.
I think that's the key, man. I think the key is getting our guys to play. And then now, as hard as it was, you're right. I think that hunger will be there to come back again and do it. So I love that, man. Before we let you go, I'm gonna let you off the hook with the final questions and everything. We'll do part 2 of the podcast because I know you got to go. But if we were to summarize or think about your life in 5 years, what's the ideal spot for you? Where does Myck Kabongo want to be, or is he just going to say, "I'm just day to day, man"?
I am a day to day. I am a day to day, but it's always nice to have goals. For me, how I look at my goals is kind of different than people. I'm just more so of I want to be in a place where I'm happy, a place where I'm appreciated, a place where I'm helping, a place where I'm inspiring, and a place where I'm motivated. And that's it.
I love it, man.
That's it.
I love it.
If I'm there in 5 years, I think I'm in a great place.
Good stuff. Love it. Well, listen, continued success. We really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. I remember being younger-ish, watching you play in the tournament and hoop. And obviously there was a spotlight, the channels up here going out of the way to show you guys play, Tristan and stuff. And continue to inspire, continue to mentor, keep that energy up. Give Scott crap for me.
I will.
and good luck with the coaching this year. Continue to learn and grow. And thanks for being with us, man.
Man, thank you. And let me know when the pod comes out. I'm definitely gonna watch and share and continue to grow yourself. And I can't wait to see where else next interviews that you do have. I'm definitely going to be tuning in and checking in. But you're doing great stuff too, bro. Keep it up.
Thanks, man. Episode 144. Thanks to our sponsors, and we will see you on the next one.
All right.